I had a very sad moment recently where I questioned the depth to which I still like mixed martial arts. And that was really, really, really identity crisis type level shit for me, because I thought that was a day that would never, ever, ever come.
I said to Kevin years ago, he had a dream 8 years ago to one day maybe be on Joe Rogan. The Joe Rogan experience, the Joe Rogan podcast. And I said, brother, by the time you become the man who would be invited, you might actually not want that anymore.
Next Level Nation, today for episode number 2090, you can tell we're talking about some pretty positive stuff. When you start to outgrow the stuff you love. So I had a moment. We're recording this on Thursday. And this Saturday, there is, I wouldn't say it's a big UFC fight, but it's a pay-per-view. And in the US, it costs $80 to order a pay-per-view. And I'm literally like, I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can.
80 big ones.
80 big ones for 3 hours. I mean, that's a lot of freaking money. That's a lot of money. And I had this moment where it was like, am I going to not order these anymore? Or am I going to order maybe one every so often? There are some cards coming up that I would like to order, but who knows by the time we get there.
For the non-UFC listeners, what is a card?
A card, yeah. So a card is a series of fights. That's all it is. They have some that are free on ESPN, but you got to pay for ESPN Plus. Gosh darn it. And then they have what is called pay-per-view, where you have to order the fights. And you have to literally pay $80 and then you get access to the fights. And these are usually bigger fights with bigger names and belts on the line. And for those who don't know, UFC is mixed martial arts, and that's this is real fighting. This isn't WWE fake wrestling. This is real kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, Muay Thai, all that stuff.
And also, listeners, because now that I have Business Growth University, I need to protect our reputation here for a second. Yeah, Kevin does not think $80 is a lot of money because we can't afford it. Okay. Well, Kevin is transforming his relationship with money. And back in the day, I don't want to interrupt you, but I want to share this. Back in the day, Kevin had more consumer thinking and less investor thinking. And we had a client, a big potential client, who Kev was like, oh, well, he's a multimillionaire, so he'll do it.
Yeah, what's 500 amongst friends?
What's 500 amongst friends? And we lost the client. And I said, Kev, just how do you think he became a multimillionaire? You think he became a multimillionaire by just giving away money all the time? The point is that the more you improve your financial acumen, which is what Kevin's doing, he's got an investor mindset. When he says $80 is a lot of money, he means the compound effect of spending money needlessly is really detrimental to your future. Well,
and what could I do with that $80? That's a really nice date night for Taryn and I. There's a lot I could do with that $80. And yeah, yes, I could afford to do it. But it is becoming the principle. It's really weird for me because it's almost like as we make more money and I have access to more money, I have to be way more disciplined to spend less forever. And it's weird because that's not what you ever see. You never see that. You never see that. That's not really what you hear about. You do hear about that from certain people who actually want to help you and add value. When you say hey, how did you amass a fortune? It's well, I was very, very stingy with my money, but that doesn't look good on social media. So most people aren't doing that. So it's just weird. It's I don't know. It is a very weird feeling for me where I told Alan, I said, it's sad. It makes me sad because I have very few things, very few hobbies already. I don't box anymore. I don't rap anymore, really, at all. That's something you and I were talking about a little bit, but...
No more jiu-jitsu.
No more jiu-jitsu. It's weird.
Smackaroos a month, man.
Yeah, that was $160 a month. That's expensive. But again, that's the thing. I don't know. It's going to keep trending this way. But that's a very early next level lesson for me. And for me and from me is that the more you get the results of the thing you want, the more you have to do the behaviors that got you the results in the first place. It's not the opposite. So I'm dieting, and I'm dieting pretty hard at this point Now is the time to turn the fucking heat up, not turn it down. Not this. It is not the time to turn it down. And I don't know. Yeah, it's sad. It makes me sad a little bit. But I do think the benefit and the many benefits of it drastically outweigh the downsides. And I don't know. Will that shift in the future? I don't know. I don't know because I never thought it would shift in the beginning. So we'll see what happens.
It's cool to see you so principle based.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I literally, it's fucked up. Bought a brand new car. Brand new car. Yeah?
Yeah.
Brand new car. 400 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 4.3 seconds. Fastest car I've ever driven. Not even close. I've had it for like 2 weeks, but I also did this with my old car. I always drive around in Eco Pro. Occasionally, like on a Friday, I'll let myself
shit in sport every
I'll
now
let
and then.
myself drive it in sport.
Yeah.
But it's like,
especially when you're pulling out in a specific highway, the Tesla has a sport mode. That
you got to
fucking goes.
Yeah,
man.
you got to. But I don't want to waste the battery, and I don't want to waste gas. And it's like, it's just weird. It's so weird how you have to have more discipline and more obedience when you get the thing. Almost more when you get the thing than you did to get the thing.
Yep.
It's really weird. Why? Why is that?
I love it. I'm so glad you asked. This is going to sound super fucking corny. With great power.
Oh, shit.
Comes great responsibility.
I was going to name this episode that, and I was like, nah. That's bad. That's a bad name.
You should have a bad name. No, but it is ultimately that, right? Just because you have the money doesn't mean you should spend it. And
I feel like this is also the opposite of what everybody else talks about. It's like,
yep.
I have a really nice car. I'm super grateful. No, at 0 point. People know me at the gym. There's this lady who, she loves me. She also has a BMW. She always parks next to me. She loves parking the BMWs together. Awesome, whatever. And she's like, where'd your car go? She's like, you got a new car? And the first thing I said was, it was cheaper. It was cheaper. That's the only reason I said that on I try to say that on social media.
Yeah, it's funny.
And then I explain it. I feel like for most people, it's the opposite. It's like, I don't want anybody to see what I do and think the reason I'm doing it makes it smart for you to do it unless you have all the data.
You remember back in the day when I was landscaping on the side for $200 for a friend's mom, when I could have been consulting for $450 an hour?
Yeah.
Does that make at least a little more sense now?
0 fucking sense. Dumbest shit I've ever heard in my entire life. I will never understand. As long as I live, it's dumb.
It's the principle. Real quick. Hear me out.
I'm here.
There's a book. That's how you sell Kevin something. Wow. That's how you sell Seven something. There's a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yeah.
Stephen Covey. And it talks about paradigms. Paradigms are your deep beliefs about life. We just did an episode recently on that. Do you remember the title?
Definitely not. No, definitely not. That was not recent, I don't think, was it?
Yeah. We did it about philosophy.
Oh, here's why goals aren't enough. 2087.
Strong work. Thank you for that.
Thank you,
producer of the show. So, in The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, highly recommend it. Great book. One of the classics, personal development. They talk about paradigms, and there's a part of the book that shows all the paradigms. There's, family-centered paradigm, and there's money-centered paradigm, and there's career-centered paradigm, and there's health-centered paradigm, all the paradigms. Yeah. AKA, what is your belief about life? He suggests that a principle-centered paradigm is the best paradigm, the most effective. A principle-centered paradigm is what we talked about in that episode, which is I have core principles of integrity. I have principles that I live by. And it's not about UFC. It's not about the fucking BMW. It's about who you are. It's about your principles. You don't spend money needlessly. That's a principle.
It's a hard
and if you
one.
have that principle, you will be a very wealthy man.
It's a hard principle to adopt. And it's a hard principle to exist with. Because it's always... Okay, perfect. you've always had that principle. No, maybe not always, but for as long as I've known you, you've had that
my
principle.
whole life. Yeah, my whole life.
I
overrode it for a time, and there's a whole reason for that. But yeah,
when you decide, I've been wearing the same 2 shirts for the last 6 fucking months. What is that like? Because we're talking about it on my end of me now adopting it. For you, you can take that side, the frugality, you can take that way too far too.
You can, 100%.
So what is that like for you? For me, it's a constant guilt and a constant equation of, and constant, I mean, this is relatively new to me. I've not been this quote unquote way for long, but it's like $80. Would I be able to explain to Alan that it was worth $80?
Nice.
Or would I be able to explain to Taryn that it's worth $80? No. And then it's another $20 for food. It's $100 a night minimum. Would I be able to explain that?
That's $5,200 a year.
That's $5,200. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
So what is it like on the other end?
$5,200 a year for just that one habit.
Yeah.
You better love it. And if you do, you do, right?
I don't love it. I don't love it that much.
Exactly.
Not that amount.
And it's actually more than that too, because if you really wanted to take that money and invest it back in our company, we can make a lot more money with it. So that's why, for me, and again, I don't know how to answer this because everything is either a mathematical no-brainer or not. So the reason why I bought new shirts, these shirts are $27 each. I don't want to waste any more time deciding what to wear, and I started BGU. So I knew that I needed to be taken seriously. I needed to look nice on the new podcast because business owners don't like to learn from a fucking 12-year-old.
Fair.
All right. So when do you know when to make the choice? It for me, it always is a mathematical no-brainer. I'm very Spock-like in this, so it's hard to explain. Like the Tesla, for example, Emilia and I share a car. Half the insurance, half the car payment, half the electricity. It's unbelievable. It's so smart. It's a mathematical no-brainer. I just got off of a monthly meetup. Shout out to anyone who was at the monthly meetup on the 5 things I learned from 10,000 hours of coaching, training, and podcasting. On the meetup, I showed the picture that I sent to you of 1998 Google, the garage, and then 2024. And the distinction number 5 was the most important investment you can make is in your own personal development. And Google, I researched it, invests 15% of its gross revenue back in the company. In R&D, research and development. It invests way more than that back, but just in R&D. And I said, why is Google doing it and you're not? If you want to go from a garage to this giant complex in this photo, and you want to be like Google, you have to invest in your own research and development. So you have to buy books, you have to take courses, you have to get a fucking coach, you have to do all these things. You don't have to do anything. But if you want to be really successful, you have to. So you never, and again, I always feel like I'm picking on you. I know I'm not. I know you know I'm not.
I'm used to it. I'm used to it,
See, that doesn't help.
I'm sorry. I'm kidding.
When we first met each other, you weren't convinced that books were of value. You weren't convinced about learning. You were playing video games while learning. And now I bought a course once for $2,000 and it was a hefty investment, but it's definitely paid off. It's an investor's mindset. Ultimately, investors invest today for a bigger, better, brighter tomorrow. There was a person that I coached in the past. She was my EA and she came over once and she came in a Toyota that had paint chipping off the top of it. And I know this person's investments. I know the numbers of all my clients. And I said, by the way, congratulations. You're going to be, in 20 years, you'll have $11.4 million, statistically speaking, or more, most likely more. She said, seriously? And I was like, hold on. Like, you have never calculated this? She's like, no, my dad set that up for me. You're going to be a multi-millionaire and you've never considered this? First of all, that's all good. You do you. And then I talked to Kev about it. Kev said everyone else would assume she's broke.
It's perception hit.
That was a perception build for me. And I want to share this. When I saw she was driving a Toyota with paint chipping off it that was 20 years old, my brain went smart. That person will be a multi-millionaire.
Question.
And they never will have made more than $25 an hour because of how intelligently they invested their capital. Go ahead.
If that person was your real estate agent, how would you feel about that?
I would feel the exact same. But I also know that no one else does that now. That's why I have a Tesla now. Because now I understand the perception versus...
Well, that's the thing. I did an episode on PGU about this. What's best for essentially what's best for business isn't always what's best for you, and what's best for you isn't always what's best for business.
Yeah.
And this is the hard thing about dream chasing is like, you might need a $2,000 laptop. You might need that, and that's for it might not even be what you want. I didn't necessarily want the laptop I have. I didn't. I was used to a laptop. I liked that laptop. I didn't want to get rid of it.
Isn't it obvious how much better it is, though?
I still fucking have it right here, the tank. I love this laptop.
We built this business on that thing.
We did. Is it? Yes, it's abundantly obvious, but I didn't. It's weird. It's so many of the things that you do, so many of the things that you feel the pull to do to fit in with other people are quite literally stopping you from accomplishing your dreams in the future. And that's the weird part of it. It was like 6:50 and I was waiting for Alan and I looked out the window and I saw one of my neighbors walking and I was like, oh my goodness, that would be nice. Like go for a walk at 7:00. Not from that place, but of like that, this is just what the fuck it takes. It is what it is.
And we want to make it clear too, Kevin and I are building a multi-million-dollar company.
I don't
together.
want to make it clear. I don't want to make it clear at all. I'm just giving my perspective.
It's
for me,
for people to know.
For me, and for us, that's what it takes. I'm not saying that's what it takes for everybody.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. Well, don't assume any of the stuff I say is gonna cross over to you as a dream chaser, entrepreneur, business owner, or whatever out there. Because again, we're doing some very weird, excessive stuff. Like we're doing some pretty weird, excessive stuff. I don't expect anybody, but there was that piece of me like, well, this is just what it takes. I mean, it just is what it is. If you want more than those around you, whatever that means, more health, more wealth, more love, more fulfillment, more opportunity, whatever, you're going to have to put in more than the people around you. And it just is what it is. And I don't know. I don't think it's a bad thing as long as you're okay with it.
There's a good metaphor of the higher you want to climb in life, the more you have to invest. Time, effort, and money. And between Kevin and I's computers, I bought a $2,000 laptop. This is a gaming laptop. This was years ago. But between you and I's computers, that's $4,500. We spent more on our laptops than most people do. Why? Because we work on them. And I said this to Kev, you use it every single day.
Well, I think there's a lot of people that have, dude, the laptop I have is the cheapest version you can get of that laptop. Most people go with the big one.
Really?
Yeah, I have to imagine. Yeah. This thing is dinky. I could discus this thing a good distance. It's little and very light and very thin. The thing for us is, and again, you out there, if you're a dream chaser, entrepreneur, business owner, whatever, the opportunity that this can create in terms of financial rebound.
Do you remember when I used to say, I never do the thing for the thing? How do I make this land? I didn't buy this laptop because I wanted to buy a nice laptop.
Well, I think that's just the difference that, again, how many people actually...
If you buy that laptop because you want a nice laptop, you bought that laptop because that laptop is required to do all of the work that we do in the world. But
I think it's harder for someone to equate how fast they make their money back. This is a 2,000. I've already made that back. 1,000% guaranteed. We could look at the numbers, right?
Yep.
That's why we bought the laptop.
Yep.
Because of the opportunity that it would create for us. But again, that is a relatively new thought process for me. That is not the way I always thought.
How would you explain that? Because another good example is I just got the iPhone Pro 16 Max, and I talked to Kevin off air not long ago. I said, dude, upgrade.
It's time, yeah.
It's time. The real reason why is the camera. Oh my, you think I'm in IMAX with this fucking thing. This is unbelievable. It's good for business.
Yeah.
I use this every day for business, every single day. There's not a single day that goes by where I don't use this iPhone to run our business. I'm the CEO of a company that requires an iPhone and a laptop. And you went to a breakfast place yesterday. You were out of the office, and Kevin said offline, he said, it's good for me to be out and to see, because I take for granted how much more productive I can be. One of the reasons I don't like traveling, I do miss the studio, but dude, the productivity hit was so big. The amount of hours you and I used to invest in the car, that now we can do paid sessions, we can do whatever, productive, you name it. And one of the things that I think can land really well for everybody on this episode is that what is the most sexy and shiny is always the least productive. And what is the most productive is always the least sexy. And you have to find, I think 80-20 is really valuable. Invest 80% of your life in productivity and building. The difference between a consumer and an investor is the consumer is the one who's losing. The consumer is the one consuming content. The creator is the investor who's creating content. And not all consumers lose. If you're consuming books, if you're consuming courses, if you're consuming coaching, if you have mentors, not all consuming. I buy movies too. I'm not saying all consumption is bad.
Conscious. I think it's got to be conscious consumption.
Yeah, conscious consumption. So, but the creators, the investors, they're winning. They're the ones who, and again, the investor mindset. It's a mindset. I was talking about this on the meetup. You learn from your past, and then you invest the present. Because the future gets better when you do.
I thought you were going to say the future will be the present eventually.
But it will.
I know that, but that's why I smiled.
The future is going to be the present eventually. And when it is, I hope it's a higher level. It's the next level.
Same.
The next level does matter more than the current level. Because the next level mattering more than the current level, eventually the next level is the current level. And you're 35, I'm 36. Our life is so much better than it was when we were younger. In every way. And the reason why is because you and I's thinking, we invested. Brother, when we were in our 20s, we were fucking losers compared to everybody else. Dude, I went from a top 1% earner to a loser living with his mom. That was an investment. And it's paid off really, really well. But I remember being made fun of by all my friends. I remember I was dating a girl. I was like, seriously? I said, no, but you don't understand. I'm building a company. They're like, okay. And I'm like, no, in my 30s, I'll be really successful. And they were like, well, yeah, I bet. It's like, oh, shit. So, and by the way, welcome.
I understand, though. I understand. I will never, ever not understand why people don't get it. It makes total sense to me. It's like, oh, so in 10 years, you'll be successful? It's like, yeah, yes. That's the goal. Well, 10 years is a long fucking time.
Hey,
so
we done did it.
Well, we did, and I'm very grateful for that. But I also understand. I don't know. I don't really hold it against people because it's like, dude, I didn't think we'd be successful.
They didn't have to be so fucking mean about it.
Well, they didn't have to be so mean about it. That's fair. But I think they probably thought you could handle it. You know,
you're a podcaster now. You're a bodybuilder now. You know what? Fuck yourself. Hello, NLU listener. Thank you, as always, for listening to Next Level University. Real quick, I just want to jump in and let you know about the Next Level Dreamliner. This is a journal that I use every single day. Achieve your dreams 90 days at a time. It breaks down your dreams into goals, milestones, and daily habits. We hope you enjoy it. The link will be in the show notes.
All right, what's your next level lesson? You said you had a question. I don't know if you still do, but you said you had a question. I don't know if
it's what
Sell
would
it?
Have, yeah, man. You have it, man. You have the investor mindset now forever. Whether you want it or not, you're never going to be able to go back.
That's nice.
You'll be, it's a way of thinking, and
sell it.
Yeah, sell it.
I don't know. You can either eat the sunflower seed today, or you can put that mother goose in the ground, and it eventually will blossom an entire flower that is also filled with sunflower seeds. And then you could have like 5 of those seeds, and then plant the rest. And the next time you'll have 15 seeds to eat.
Nice.
And you just do that. You just keep fucking doing that. Eventually, you'll have so many bags of sunflower seeds, you won't even know what to do. And then you can sell those shit. And then you'll have a sunflower seed business. And you can work laptop lifestyle.
Yeah.
You can work from the beach. You don't have to do anything.
That's literally what companies do.
I know. Well, I think that's kind of, here's the thing. I think one of the reasons influencing is so dangerous is because most people aren't actually as successful as they show. So when they tell you how they got successful, it's all false because they're not actually successful.
Mm-hmm.
And it sets you up to think that you're going to do the same thing and maybe you don't have to invest as much along the way. I went on a podcast recently and this person and I have been talking about potentially working together. They had a social media expert on. Social media expert, that's in quotations. And you know me, I got to go check to see about this. All of their shit's paid for.
All of it.
Here's how you tell, okay? If you want to tell if somebody has fake followers or fake likes or fake comments, every single post they do has no more than 500 different, there's no, what's the word I'm looking for? 500
disparity.
Likes. Yeah, everything's like 16,500, 16,400, 16,600, 16,700. That ain't the way it works, first of all. That is not the way it works. And if they have that many likes and they have 4 fucking comments, those aren't real people.
Yeah.
And if they have 200 comments and they're all fire emojis, those probably aren't real people either because people say words, usually.
People say words.
But I felt bad for the person who had this person on because they got hoodwinked.
Yeah.
And they probably think, I got a big guest, 1 million followers, like this is going to be really good.
Yep. Nothing.
No, it ain't.
No dice.
That is not real. You have more followers than that person does. The person who hosted that person, you have more followers than they do.
100%.
So I think that's why it can be very hard because so many of the people telling you to invest in yourself never did.
Oh,
so they can't really talk to you about the journey. And I think that's what makes it really hard.
Get rich quick schemes are fake.
For sure.
They're all fake. All of them are fake.
All of them.
One last story.
Please.
Okay. I was on with a client earlier. Shout out to you. You know who you are. When I tell this story, you're definitely going to know who you are. He said, sometimes I feel like I'm behind. And then something happened recently that made me realize how far ahead I am. There's this guy I was following for years. This is like 3 or 4 years ago. He's a YouTuber. And the YouTuber was in a video saying, hey, I make about $100,000 a month. And apparently in Britain, there was this whole thing that came out. The exact same year that he did that video, they found out that he made less than I think a little more than $100,000 the entire year. Because in Britain, I guess it's public with how much you make because of taxes or whatever. I don't know how the parliament and all that works in Britain. I'm from the US. But I remember saying, brother, of course. But brother, of course. Listen, I'm not saying everyone's lying. But you can't assume they're not. You can't assume they're not. I was on a BGU episode recently and I told a story. And it had to do with Amy Lenius on the team. And I said, Amy, if you're listening, listen. I don't know if it was 3 years ago or 3.5 or 4. It makes the story worse for me to even say that, but I can't not say it. It might be 3.5, it might be 3, it might be 3.2. I don't fucking know the answer. I know it was about 3 years ago. No podcaster in history goes through that level of diligence to make sure that they're accurate. I don't want to embellish. Now, sometimes I probably do. Sometimes I'm a little under, sometimes I'm a little over, but I'll tell you what. We make a lot more money than that YouTuber. Way fucking more. And I know that because I can tell the numbers. When I walk into a Panera, I see the numbers. Emilia and I have a game where we guess their gross revenue and their P&L and all this stuff. P&L means profit and loss. I realize now, here's the deal. When you are naive, you will get hoodwinked. If you're a chess master and I'm trying to cheat in chess, you're gonna notice. If you're a podcaster and you're a really good podcaster and you know how this industry works, Kevin cannot get hoodwinked in podcasting. He's been in the industry for 10 years. He can't get hoodwinked. No podcast course that's full of shit can sell Kevin a course. Why? Because he's got knowledge. Knowledge is power in the sense that when you know more, no one can fuck with you. And it's really, really empowering to learn. And just all I'm saying is naivete is scary. We all start off naive. I was naive as shit.
See?
You and I started out in this industry super fucking naive.
For sure.
And especially compared to now.
Started out and stayed for a while. Naive. Not just started.
And over time, you learn, okay, I guess that's not real, and that's not real, and that's not real. Oh, that's tough. Oh, okay. And eventually you become bulletproof when you learn about an industry. Last piece. I'm on with a different client, and he's like, brother, I go to this car dealership with my girl. And I know this guy. I had dinner with this guy not a month ago. Owns a bunch of dealerships, right? I can't believe this fucking asshole. Anyways, I'll keep it all anonymous, but basically they tried to hoodwink him. You know how the moment you get there, they set you up and the brrr and all this stuff?
Of course.
I said, brother, you were just at dinner with him a month ago, having him teach you how he takes advantage of dumb people. This car dealership owner was bragging about how he takes advantage of people who don't know anything. And this client of mine, by the way, is not a fan of this person. Can't stand this person. I said, brother, you went to his dealership. Expect it. They can't fuck with you because you know more. My favorite thing, Kev, this is sneaky. I've never talked about it before. My favorite thing with my clients is I make them unhoodwinkable. I make them unhoodwinkable. You cannot fuck with one of my clients because I got you. I know who's legit and I know who's not. Because knowledge makes you a very, very capable person because you can't get screwed with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Certainty. I think that's why so many people, like, when do you get the most stressed out? When you're going to buy a car, that's the time. Because you know, these people they have all the stops. They know exactly, well, okay, hold on. Let me put it to 4 boxes here. Okay, 3 choices. All 3 are higher than you wanted, but the lowest one is close to a little bit more than you wanted to spend. So, like, that's close enough. Okay. And then there's just stuff that you don't know, like what to ask for. And yeah, it's interesting.
Kev goes 3 years ago, gets a worse
I got fucking gaffed 3 years ago.
Kev goes 3 years ago.
I got gaffed.
Gets a worse BMW for way more money.
Gaffed.
The same Kevin, but different Kevin, because he's smarter now, goes and gets a way nicer car for way less money. That is the value of intelligence and knowledge and awareness.
Gaffed last
You
time.
crushed it this time, man. Better late than never.
I was in the finance office getting signing papers, and they're like, "All right, with everything, it's going to end up being blank this amount." Fuck it, I'll say it. I don't care. $605. And I was like, I agreed to 600 flat. And they're like, "Well, it's only like 5." And I was like,
"Can you take us through the whole thing? Can you give us the whole thing?" Yeah, this is really good for anyone listening.
All right, cool,
dude. How many of our listeners are going to buy a car?
Let's do it. All right,
do it. Okay.
Alan and I had a conversation. So I saw an Instagram short about my car, you being able to purchase it for $550 a month. To lease it for $550 a month. I was like, I don't fucking think so. There's no way. Then I went and researched it. Well, they're doing $7,500 EV special. So they take $7,500. They give you a credit immediately. I have a BMW already, so I'm going to get another $1,000 off. Interesting. So I texted somebody at the dealership because they're always trying to have me bring my car in and trade it so they can get more money out of me, of course, always. Hey, Jeff, are you guys doing the $8,500 incentive? Yes. And as a matter of fact, we also have a $5,300 incentive tomorrow only. Are you able to come in?
Yeah, okay.
It's not tomorrow only, just so you know.
Just so you know.
I went in ChatGPT, give me numbers, let me figure this out. ChatGPT, make sure that's off of the manufacturer's suggested retail price, not already factored in. Interesting. Text them back. So the price on the website, the $65,000, is that with the $5,000, $5,300 credit or without? They said, no, that's without it. So that actually comes off the price.
It's called list price is what that means. List
Yes.
price. And by the way, they always list it high to anchor you high, or they list it really, really, really low
to get your ass.
Here's what they typically do. They list it high as the full value of the vehicle, and then they list it really, you can get it for up to, or as low as $479 a month.
That's
assuming
what
that you get one with 2 tires and...
Well, and you have 799 level credit. Like, you have perfect credit.
And 10 grand down.
And 10 grand
cash.
down.
Yeah.
All of that shit.
Yep.
Okay. So I text them. I'm like, yeah, I'll be down tomorrow. What time's good? They're like, noon. I'm like, noon's great. Ask for our sales manager, Jeff. It's like, all right, cool. So I drive down. I already I went through the car wash. I already emptied out my car. I gave it a gentle detail, full tank of gas. I went in knowing that's going to happen.
I would have told him
cool.
You're the chief sales officer of a multi-million-dollar company.
We'll get into that.
Okay.
Immediately I go in, really nice guy. The guy I worked with is really, really cool dude. But it was like, I was like, how long have you been here? It was like, about a year. It's like, cool. I'm going to eat you alive.
Yeah.
Cool. Here we go. This is what I want to look at. If you can hit the number, I will buy it today. My car is gassed up, cleaned, ready to go. I got both keys with me, registration, all of the stuff, everything we need. He's like, well, let's go take a look at it. Don't need to. I don't need to. You want to test drive it? Don't really care. Nope. Don't need to. He's like, come on, let's go test drive. It's like, all right. As we're walking out there, I literally said, brother, again, I'm happy to test drive it. If we can't hit the number, I don't care. This isn't going to work. I said, so how realistic is it that we can get this for $550 a month? He's like, we'll see what we can do. Okay. So we test drive it, and I'm talking to him, and him and I.
Do you want to give it a little shine?
Yeah. Him and I had a really good conversation.
Just
he was really
to
cool.
unpack this, he's trying to get you to invest more time, so you're more likely to not say no at the end when you find out it's actually $900.
Well, he wants you want to feel yourself in it. You know, you have the experience. Like, brother, I don't care. I'm not worried about it. I don't need to test drive it. Several of the cars I've bought in the past, I couldn't even drive a stick, so I couldn't even test drive it. So I just bought them and then learned how to drive them on the way home. Don't worry about it. We're going to be fine. So we go on this 15-minute test drive. Awesome. Car's great. Love it. So we get back and we sit down. He's like, what do you think? I was like, same shit. If we can be at $550, I want tax, title, docs, registration, and inspection included.
Nice. Let's go.
And he's like, how much you want to put down? I said, $0. I don't want to put anything down.
Approximately $0.
$0. He's like, wait, what? He's like, you're going to have to put something down. I said, that's not what I read. I read I shouldn't have to put anything down.
That's not what I read on my blog.
And then I showed him the ChatGPT. I was like, this
Which
is what
was
I'm
actually a
with.
blog you wrote. I'm joking.
What was it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I wrote my own blog. I would have put $0 down. This is not what I read.
He's like, all right, let me go see what I can do. Comes back, same shit. Every dealership you get, 3 numbers, boom, 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 boom. He's like, so this is if you put 1,000 down. This is if you put 3,000 down. This is if you put 5,000 down. I was like, dude, we are not even close. It was like the lowest price was $757, the same amount that I was paying for my old car.
Nice. Good.
And I was like, no, nope. We got to be at 550. He's like,
nice.
Kev, I can't do 550. And I said, well, what can we do? Like, what can we do?
Nice.
So we go back and forth, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, 600. If you can get it down to 600, tax, titles, everything included, I'll sign and go. He's like,
nice.
You're going to have to put something down. I said, all right, I need to make a call.
Nice.
Let me make a call. So I called Alan, of course. Hey, man, I'm freaking out. I sound really confident on the podcast talking about it, but I'm losing my shit. I got to put 1,000 down.
Yeah.
Thoughts? And he's
Crunch
like,
the numbers.
Crunch the numbers. Yeah, it's a no-brainer. You got to.
Yeah.
How much is it going to be?
No-brainer.
Yeah. I said it's going to be 600.
Part.
It's going to be 600.
Yeah.
Cool. And I was like, but it'll be 575 or whatever if I put 1,500 down or 2,000 down. Should we do that? No, don't worry about it. 1,000 down. Cool. Mm-hmm. Guy comes back. If you can get it to 600, I can do it.
I got to teach in the middle of this. What we're doing, the person who is willing to walk away always has the most leverage.
Always.
Because otherwise, this salesperson lost a client, a future customer, and wasted their fucking time.
Yes. Before this happened, sorry, I got to get back in. Before this happened.
You know I got to be off at 8, right? I'm kidding.
No, we'll have you off.
You know I'm joking.
Based on the car that I had test driven, we could not even get close to the number. So the car I test drove was $69,000. and we couldn't get there. And I was like, all right, well, fuck that car.
Nice.
I did all this pricing on a car that was $64,995.
Nice.
That's on a car carrier on its way here. I want that one.
Nice.
He's like,
you really did crush it.
I did really well. I did.
Yeah, you crushed it.
I didn't know what color this was. I didn't even know what the fucking interior was. I was like, I just want that one. I didn't even know what this car looked like. And he's like, okay, I don't know when it'll be here. I don't care. Don't worry about it. Can we make that happen? He goes, he's like,
Nice.
He comes back with more. And this was an interesting thing. And again, be careful with this. He draws a line on a piece of paper and says, will you sign on this piece of paper? If I can go up there and I can come down and it'll end up being $600 with everything included, you'll buy the car today. He said, yep, 100%. Done. He walks away.
Can I teach what he's doing there?
Yes.
He's getting your unconscious, so your central nervous system is connected to writing. When you write something down, it plants deeper in your subconscious, and it's very hard to walk away after that.
And you also
commit a little something too.
You
a little
feel,
skin in the game.
You feel guilty if you sign something and then
exactly, yeah. But it's mostly the
negate it.
Yeah.
I immediately chat
GPT'd
GPT'd
unconsciously.
For sure. I immediately chat GPT'd whether or not this was legally binding. Right after I signed it, I was like, I fucked up. I fucked up. I'm in trouble. I wasn't prepared for that. Chat GPT didn't say anything about that. Shit. And then I was like, no, we're good. I can walk if I want. He comes back, holds out his hand. I look down, 600 flat. Cool. Shake hands. Awesome. All right, we'll run you through the stuff. Sign this. Yeah, boom, boom, boom. We go. So we got to go see the finance manager. He's the dude you signed on the final paperwork with. Awesome. He's the dude who sold me my last car.
He's in a trench coat. You got to go through a cave.
He's very nicely dressed. Very nicely dressed. He's fresh. And we're going through, and he's all right, with everything, it's going to be whatever, $605 or $610 a month. I said, I can't do it. And this was like the last signature. I said, I can't do it.
Good for you.
And
how fucking criminal is this process? Oh,
it's brutal. Oh my God. Yeah. And I said, I don't want the tire package. I don't want the door ding I don't want any of it. I don't want anything. $600. That's it. Just give me $600 a month and I'm out of here.
Flintstone my ass home in this
100%.
Thing, if you get it below 600.
So him and I go back and forth. And
at any point, did you tell them you're a fucking business owner?
Yeah. Okay. The guy who I did the test, and they know because I talked to him last time.
Okay.
He's like, you're still doing the podcast?
They don't mess with you as much. Emilia, we sold her Prius. I told you this. Yeah, I'm like, listen, brother, stop. We've got 8 other people. One of them's in our condo complex, ready to pay $75 cash. Like, do you want the car or not? We own 3 businesses between the two of us.
$7,500.
I know what you're doing. $7,500. Yeah, I know what you're doing. I'm fucking on to you. Do you want the car or not? They literally left, dude. They dipped and they tested whether or not we'd call back. We didn't. They came back.
Look, I respect it. I respect it. That they did everything. They did everything you're supposed to do.
I also sort of felt like I was doing a drug deal because we were at a high school under floodlights, and I had $7,500 cash in my fucking back pocket.
All right, last thing, and then we'll get out of here. So I'm signing the final paperwork. 612, whatever the number was, 615. I was like, it's got to be 600. I literally can't buy it if it's more than 600. Between my business partner and I, like we have a binding agreement.
Nice.
So I threw you under the bus. Like I can't, I won't be able to
right there.
move forward with my life if I.
Yeah.
Cool.
Bad cop,
all right.
Good cop. That's
it was great.
Perfect. Yeah. Nice.
All right. Let me go talk to the guy. Boom, boom. All right. Are you willing to leave us a 5-star review? I said, I'll fucking take a picture with the guy and leave you a 5-star review. You're good.
Nice. I'll post it on my social.
We'll go out, take a picture. Now it's on their Google profile or whatever, and then boom, we're off to the races.
Nice work.
But to Alan's point, the only reason I got the car is because it was cheaper. The power really was with us because it's not like I needed a new car. Yeah. Until I realized I was about to go over my fucking lease miles on my other car. I kind of did.
Yeah.
Last thing. The only reason I went up, so my number was $550. I'm going to get a brand new car for $550 a month. I'm going to save $200 a month. It's going to be awesome. Mm-hmm. The only reason I was even willing to go up to 600 is because I was looking the night before. Mm-hmm. And my car, I had a 3-year lease. I didn't know it was 7,000 miles per year. I thought it was 10.
Yeah.
I was at 20,000 miles and I only had 21,000 miles and I have an entire year.
Looks like Taryn's driving.
So I lost a little bit of the foothold. Positioning. So that's the only reason that happened.
So the point of this episode, and again, thank you for sharing. I know that was a lot, Knowledge is power. When you understand awareness, instead of knowledge is power, awareness, you understand cars, you understand business, you understand BMW, and you understand that dealership. You know what they're doing. You're on to them. You won't get hoodwinked when you have higher awareness. And I hope that if nothing else lands, that's what lands in this episode.
And this episode was when you start to outgrow the stuff you love. We kind of went off into investing. And again, this is all along the same lines because that's the reason I have outgrown a lot of the stuff.
What would have happened to old Kev if he walked in there?
I would have paid the first number they gave me.
For $69,000 BMW.
I would have been jeffed.
I would have been like, brother, I'm going to need you to sell.
I would have been jeffed. Yeah, I would have been jeffed.
It's all good. It's all good. Next level lesson.
Just like anything else, you got to know what questions to ask. Next level lesson. Honestly, you most likely are going to outgrow the stuff that you love. Not all of it, maybe. And depending to the degree that you want to grow, you don't have to outgrow everything, but I don't think it's a bad thing. I think if anything, it's a really positive sign of evolution.
Yeah. My next level lesson is when you have higher awareness than other people, you are in a very good position. And as long as you're a good person, you won't take advantage of them. But if you have lower awareness, you can be manipulated. That doesn't mean everyone's going to manipulate you, but some people fucking will. And the Next Level University podcast is hopefully equipping you with some high-level awareness so that you can get to the next level, but also not get hoodwinked.
All right. If you are a podcaster or a business owner, you heard about the other two podcasts that Alan and I have. Well, Alan has two other ones. I have one other one. Podcast Growth University, how to grow, scale, and monetize your podcast. And then Business Growth University. What's your tagline?
Reach your potential in life and business.
Perfect. Those two podcasts we will have in the links in the show notes below. And if you are somebody who wants to get to the place of sustainably, consistently journaling, we have the Next Level Dreamliner. I brought mine to the coffee shop yesterday, and I was like, I'm cool as shit. Look at this thing.
Kev, I'm going to rip a page out of this. I'm going to have you sign it. Are you game to buy one? I'm kidding.
Yeah, I'll buy one.
I'll take you out back. I'll take you to my finance manager. He'll get you a Dreamliner, hook you up. It's only going to be $7,000 a month.
Yeah. Do you want the platinum cover? No, I don't need it. Silver. You want the silver cover?
Do you want a pen with it?
Yeah.
Pen with it.
Okay. All right. Yep. That'll be $300.
You want the non-leaky pages?
Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
All right. So we'll have that.
The links will be in the show notes.
Yeah, we'll have that in the show notes as well. All right, cool. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And NLU, we don't have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Keep it next level. Next Level Nation.